Hi, I'm Henry Rollins, and this is Mr. Jerry Lee Lewis, and we are your hosts tonight for the next 120 minutes on MTV. Tonight we've got brand new videos from Sponge, Babes in Toyland, and the Bad Brains. And in 1 hour, it's the MTV premiere of the Beastie Boys' new one for a song called Root Down. So to kick things off, here's an MTV premiere from Soul Asylum. And as you well know, the Minneapolis band is going to be dropping this record real soon. Their last one sold 3 million copies. That one is called Grave Dancers Union, which I'm sure you know very well. Anyway, on June 6th, the new album comes out, and it's called Let Your Dim Light Shine. This is the first Soul Asylum album to feature the new drummer Sterling Campbell. And here's the first video off it, and the song is called Misery.
Every day, the songs will take on different aspects for us because we're in different situations. And a song that you maybe write a year ago or 3 days ago might be different when you're within a different situation.
With the second video off their gold debut album, 16 Stone, that's the Oxford, England band Bush with Little Things here on 120 Minutes. I'm Henry Rollins, and this is Jerry Lee Lewis, and we are guest hosting the show tonight. And Jerry, you recorded your first album in 12 years recently, and it's coming out real soon.
Yes, it's been 12 years since I've done any recording, Hank, and we've got high hopes for this album, Young Blood.
You had fun recording it?
Oh, I had a ball, yeah.
It was good to get back in the studio?
Mm-hmm. It was different, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, okay. Well, we're going to get a look at the first video off this album, and the song is called Goosebumps, but that's not for a while, so I want you to stay with us, and we're going to roll that in a little while. Anyway, coming up at 1 o'clock, we'll have the MTV premiere of the new Beastie Boys video, Root Down. But first, it's the Long Beach, California punk reggae band Sublime with the first video off their debut album, 40 Ounces to Freedom. That's really inventive. The song is called Date Rape. Please stay tuned.
Nothing tempting your taste buds.
Religion, and you're watching 120 Minutes on MTV.
We've got a video coming up from Bad Religion, plus one from a hardcore band called No Use for a Name, and an MTV premiere from the Beastie Boys here on 120 Minutes. I'm Henry Rollins, and this is Mr. Jerry Lee Lewis, and we are your guest hosts tonight. A thing that I always thought was interesting is I've been making records for a long time, not as long as you. I've always been in a situation where I was able to redo a vocal if I messed one up, or if the guitar player broke a string, he could just come back on another day and do the guitar over. But when you were making records early on, it was basically all live, and you just had to get it right. What's that like compared to how you made your last record, where it was a more modern studio?
Well, it's so different now, Hank, because back when I first started recording back in 1956, and we didn't do overdubbing. And believe it or not, all my hit records were just one take. And that was it. It was a full-track machine. Wow. Sun Records on 706 Union Avenue in Memphis. And I just go in, we'd done great balls of fire, like, that was it. And there was no overdubbing. But now it's different. They overdub now.
Yeah, and there's a lot, they go, okay, you're going to make your record, we'll be working for 2 months, and you used to just do it in 1 hour, right?
Yeah, I used to record, all my big albums were not over two and a half hours.
In the studio working?
In the studio, the whole deal, that was it.
Well, things are different now. Anyway, next up is Boston. No! It's Boston-based songwriter Jennifer Trinan, and this is her debut full-length album. It's called Cockamamie, and the first video off it is called Happier. From their fourth album, Leche Con Carne, that's the California band called No Use for a Name with Soulmate here on 120 Minutes. I'm Henry Rollins. This is Mr. Jerry Lee Lewis, and we are your hosts tonight. I just wanted to talk briefly about, geographically and a little bit historically where you come from musically. You recorded a lot of your early stuff in Memphis, Tennessee, and at Sun Studios under the supervision of Mr. Sam Phillips. And there's a great camaraderie amongst musicians back in those days that I find lacking these days. There's a lot more cutthroat nature amongst musicians. And there was a really great event which later called the Million Dollar Quartet, where you and Johnny Cash and Carl Perkins and Elvis Presley got together and recorded a bunch of songs, standards and spirituals. And maybe you could tell us something about that, that day and how it came about.
It was a Carl Perkins session. He was recording that day. And Mr. Phillips came out and told me, he said Elvis had called down and would like to come down and meet me. He had never met me, but when he would come down and meet me, and I never met him. It was great, So he came down, and I think Carl maybe cut one song. And Elvis came in. That was the end of the session. So we started laughing, talking, shooting the bull, carrying on, and singing and everything. And Johnny started singing with us. Carl started singing, and eventually they faded out. Me and Elvis sang for hours.
And it's all on tape?
All of it. Sam Phillips recorded it himself. I saw him.
Yeah, and that some of that session is out. It's available.
You can buy it. It's been out for years. They've bootlegged the album for years and years, and
sure.
And they sold millions of them. And the kids, when they listen to this album, I played it at the house with some kids before, and they say, "Who?" I said, "That's Elvis Presley and me singing." They say, "Oh, you got to be joking." And
it is pretty unbelievable, But then you see there's some really famous shots, because I know Sam Phillips sent a word out to some of the press people locally, and they came down.
He sent everything out except any money. He never sent no money out.
Yeah, yeah, I heard about that. Anyway, at the top of the hour, we're going to have the MTV premiere of the new Beastie Boys video called Root Down. And right after the break, it's the Hoboken, New Jersey band called Yo La Tengo. First, here's a look at the top 10 albums on the alternative radio chart this week. First proper rock or music video you've ever done.
This is it.
So tell me a little bit about what it was like taking orders all day.
Well, it was really, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to think about it. I went in and I missed the first day. I was real sick, and they didn't believe that. But I told them that I was, and I made it up the next day. I got there, and we actually worked 12 hours straight on this video. And, Jesus, I thought maybe I should go back to the farm. I've never worked that hard in my life. But I'm very proud of it, Hank, and it looks real good. Yeah, I think.
Good, yeah. Well, we're going to see it real soon. Jerry's record comes out on May 23rd, which is this coming Tuesday. And, you know who this is, and you know who I am, and we are guest hosting 120 Minutes tonight. And right here, right now, it's the Hoboken, New Jersey trio Yo La Tengo with their first video off their 7th album, Electro Pura. It's called Tom Courtenay.
I don't consider myself a lyricist at all. I mean, I think like what I've written's all right, but I wouldn't like put it against John Lennon or Kurt Cobain or Morrissey or anything like that. I mean, that's for other people to say. I don't particularly think that our lyrics are that good, to tell you the truth, or my lyrics are that good. I think they sound pretty stupid, but that's just the way it is,
The third video off their gold debut album, Definitely Maybe, that's the Manchester, England band Oasis with their song Rock and Roll Star, here on 120 Minutes. I'm Henry Rollins, and this is Mr. Jerry Lee Lewis, and we are your guest hosts tonight. As I remember, historically, Your father bought you a piano when you were 8 years old. It's still in your house in Mississippi. I saw it myself.
That's right.
And what did you like when you first sat down and started playing it? You know, I don't know exactly what your father had in mind, but I know you kind of immediately went to boogie woogie and the music. Well, the point I wanted to make is there's two songs that I know that you grew up learning how to play piano to, House of Blue Light and Down the Road a Piece, that you actually did on this album, which is really great. And maybe you can tell us about what it was like when you first sat down at the piano and what made you like it. And
well, my folks bought me this piano. They mortgaged the house and bought it for me. And it was an old upright piano, but it was like brand new back then. And I was right at home. I sat down and I started tinkering around with it. And within 2 weeks, I was playing pretty good piano. And Down the Road a Piece was a very simple song to play anyway. So I kind of liked that one, and I got into that one pretty good. And House of Blue Lights. I learned all these songs on Haney's Big House there in Faraday.
That's right. And when I remember that you told me that your dad used to take you and the piano on the flatbed truck and you go play in churches and stuff for people. How many months had you been playing before you went out in front of people, do you think?
We would play anywhere anybody would listen to us.
Right, but how long have you been playing before you went out in front of people?
Oh, about 3 months.
Wow. And you were 8 years old playing in front of, playing on Sundays for people?
Yeah, the little fingers. My hand was very small. My fingers are still small, but I get over pretty good, you know. And I know it sounds kind of fishy that a person can learn how to play a piano and teach himself to do it at the age of 8 years old. But I did.
Yeah,
that happened to me. And I don't think people believe that, but I swear it's the truth.
I believe you. And obviously you got it. Anyway.
I'm still learning, as a matter of fact.
Well, I hope so. Well, you, as a musician, you aspire to grow. In less than 10 minutes, we'll have the MTV premiere of the new Beastie Boys video, Root Down. And right after the break, that's where they run a bunch of commercials. And that's where you should, break for the refrigerator. Anyway, it's an oldie from, it's the first video I ever did for the Rollins band. And please stick around so you can see it. It's back when I was young and very handsome.
Yeah, what's up? This is Mike D from the Beastie Boys, and you're watching 120 Minutes on MTV.
We're just 5 minutes away from the MTV premiere of the new Beastie Boys video, Root Down. I can't wait to see this because all I've been doing is sitting here all evening in the wonderful MTV building here in Miami Beach talking about it. Anyway, I'm Henry Rollins. And my guest host with me is Mr. Jerry Lee Lewis. And I know this time when you did the record, you used a lot more musicians on it than you probably ever used in quite a while. I'm not talking about string sections or anything. I'm talking about real players and,
right.
Everything. And so I know you used to work with just, bass player, drummer, and guitar player. But there's two or three musicians on this record I think are very important to talk about. And one of them is your guitar player who you've had with you, playing with you for decades. And let's talk about him.
Kenny Lovelace.
Yeah.
Right. He lives in Nashville, Tennessee. He is one of the better guitar players in the country, and violinist too. He's a concert violin player. And he plays fiddle too, But James Burton played guitar on the session with me too. He was Elvis's guitar player for 12 years.
And did he cut any of the any really important singles for Elvis?
Yes, he did. Yeah, several.
Right. And so he's on the record as well.
Yeah.
The thing, one of my favorite things on the record is, I hope I don't have the instrument wrong. Is it is it a lap steel or a pedal steel that kind of Hank Williams?
They overdubbed that on there. I don't know who the steel player was.
But what's the instrument? Is it a lap steel or a pedal steel?
It sounds like an old steel guitar like Hank Williams used to use.
Okay, because that's that feel it gives, and it's on a few songs on the record, and I really like it.
It is good. Andy Paley's good on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was a really nice overdub. You know, a great overdub, babe. Anyway,
great overdub, really.
Yeah, no,
it proves something to me.
Yeah, definitely. And right now, it's an older video for me and my worthy constituents, the Rollins Band, and this video is filmed by Avant video director, singer of REM, Mr. Michael Stipe, and it's a song off our debut album, record-breaking. Okay, forget it. The album was called Lifetime. We did it a few years ago for $3,200, and it was done with Michael Stipe running around a small club in Athens, Georgia, with a handheld black and white camera with his baseball cap on backwards. And every single time I'd look down, I'm singing away, and I look down, and there's Michael looking up at me with a camera, having kids falling all over him, and it was hilarious. Anyway, it was his idea, and the song is called What Am I Doing Here? And it was a great moment of my life. Okay. I'm Henry Rollins, and this is Mr. Jerry Lee Lewis, and we are your guest hosts tonight for the second half of MTV's 120 Minutes. We are past the 50-yard line and running down for the big touchdown at the end of the show. Anyway, we've got alternative music video from Sponge, Shudder to Think, Babes in Toyland, Catherine Wheel, Bad Brains, Bjork, Sugar Ray, Radiohead, and lots more. First up, as promised, it's an MTV premiere from the Beastie Boys. This is the third video off their fourth album called Ill Communication. The song is called Root Down. I know you've been waiting to see it, and let it roll. With the second video off their fifth album, Pony Express Record, that's the DC bass band Shudder to Think, with the song Ex-French T-shirt here on good old 120 Minutes. I'm Henry Rollins. This is Mr. Jerry Lee Lewis, and we are guest hosting tonight. So, I think it's important to note that you were the first guy in rock and roll who had your piano up at the front of the stage, where like the piano was the main thing, not the guitar,
right?
And not the singer just standing alone with a microphone. So tell us.
The secret was you had to be able to hear the piano.
Right. So tell us how you did that.
Well, I used a violin pickup that they use on violins, make them real loud, and you take it and put it in the back of a piano, and you put it in there with pasteboard. It has to be put in there a very special way, and hook it up in a Fender amplifier, and you can have 15,000 people, and you can burst the eardrums with it. And I had a boy on bass who was playing electric bass, one of the first ones that they ever made, the Fender bass. We got the second one made, and my drummer was playing, and that's all we had. That's all we needed.
But this is some of the first electric rock music ever played, because I know you grew up just playing in churches and
well, nobody ever heard of this pickup before.
Right.
I didn't know how to do that. A blind man taught me how to do that in Natchez, Mississippi, when I worked at the wagon wheel in Natchez, Mississippi.
And what did the crowd think of being able to hear something real loud like that? They really liked it.
They loved it. They never heard
yelling and screaming.
Yeah, they couldn't believe it. I knew it would be great if I could ever get it across. Yeah.
Right, and you did.
I did, yeah.
Cool. Next up, it's the Detroit band Sponge with their second video off their debut album, Rotting Pinata. The song is called Molly.
Hi, I'm Björk, and you're watching 120 Minutes on MTV.
We've got Bjork's new video coming up, along with the LA band Sugar Ray and a brand new one from Babes in Toyland here on 120 Minutes. I'm Henry Rollins, and this is Mr. Jerry Lee Lewis, and we are your guest host tonight. I think it's important to note that ever since you started playing in front of people in the 50s, you've been playing at least 100 shows a year all over the world for decades, and this year's no different. You're going out And you're, so the tour starts in Europe this year?
Next month, right.
You go out for Europe for a long tour?
Yeah, we're going to be over for about 2.5 months.
Okay. And then you're going to come back to America after that and do some shows?
Yes, we'll be working a lot of the summer here in the States, yeah.
Are you going to play into the fall, or I guess you'll be playing right probably till Christmas break or something?
Yeah, we always work right up until Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah, we usually do.
Cool. Well, if y'all see his name somewhere, you should go, because it's a night of the real thing. Anyway, right here, it's the Catherine Wheel. This is the first video off their third album, Happy Days, and it's called Way Down. We're the first video off their debut album, Lemonade and Brownies. That's the LA band Sugar Ray with the song Mean Machine here on 120 Minutes. I'm Henry Rollins. This is Jerry Lee Lewis, and we're guest hosting tonight. Please stick around with us, because we're going to be playing the latest from Radiohead, plus a brand new one from the original Bad Brains lineup. And right after the break, will be a brand new one from Babes in Toyland. If I were you, I would check that record out. I heard it a while ago, and it's amazing. Anyway, we are going to continue here, me and Mr. Lewis, here on 120 Minutes, so please stay tuned. Thanks.
We're from Radiohead. I'm Tom. He's Ed.
And you're watching 120 Minutes on MTV.
We've got the latest from Radiohead coming up. I don't know what it is. This show fills me with such inner light, mirth, and joy. I can't help but laugh. But it's not a scornful laugh. It's a laugh of radiant joy. Anyway, speaking of radiant joy, it's Radiohead coming up with a brand new video from, I'm still going to save this. Anyway, we have a brand new video from the Bad Brains here on 120 Minutes. My name is Mr. and this is Mr. Jerry Lee Lewis, and we are guest hosting tonight. I think it's not a good idea that we have to wait 12 years every time for you to make a record. So
yes, that would be bad, because well, this time we done 2 albums anyway when we done this one.
Oh yeah, okay. So maybe in the next couple of years we'll get another Jerry Lee Lewis album, and we won't have to wait a decade plus.
I would hope in 6 or 7 months.
I don't think they're gonna let see. That's another thing that's different about the record industry these days. Remember back in the old days,
you could do release them like that anymore?
No, you could do like 2 or 3 albums in a year.
Yeah.
Well, they don't do that anymore. You'll definitely be waiting at least a year and a half, 2 years.
Well, I can see the word that would be good.
They want a chance to properly promote all the other ones and probably drag you back down here to old MTV again at some point.
That would be an honor.
But
really,
you never know. But so
a year between albums?
Oh yeah, man. It's been a long time since I released one, just because I've been working so hard trying to write new songs for it. So it's
mine don't sell. It could be more than that, couldn't it?
Well, who knows? We might be both, mowing lawns
I don't know.
with some of the illustrious MTV staff. Anyway, right now it's a brand new video from Babes in Toyland. This is their 4th album, Nemesisters, and this record has 3 covers on it, cover songs. And one of which is Eric Carmen's 70s hit All By Myself, a song by Billie Holiday called Deep Song, and Sister Sledge's We Are Family. And this is the first video off the album. It's a song called Sweet 69, and here it is.
This is Peter Murphy, and you're watching 120 Minutes.
Be sure to check out 120 Minutes next Sunday at midnight and 11 Central, when ex-Bauhaus singer Peter Murphy will be combing his hair strangely, sucking in his cheekbones, and nearly dying of malnutrition here as a guest on MTV's 120 Minutes. Only kidding, he's a great artist, and we have the same management, so I better not make any jokes. Anyway, I'm Henry Rollins, and this is Mr. Jerry Lee Lewis, and we have been guest hosting tonight. You're going to be doing some shows this summer. with Mr. Van Morrison, another musician of great renown.
Right.
And do you know how many dates you're doing together in Europe?
Approximately, I think about 3 weeks.
Oh, 3 weeks together as a co-headline. That's great.
Not every night. That'll just be like 3 nights off, a couple of nights, and then 4 nights
Right.
off.
I understand. Okay, and I just found this out that you have there's a new biography that's been written about you called The Killer.
Right.
And it's coming out here in America later on in the year.
That's right. It's out in Europe now.
Right, and it'll be coming out here in America real soon.
They named the book The
Right.
Killer. I didn't name it that. They did.
Do you like the book?
I love the book. The book tells the truth.
Okay.
It's the only one that's really truthful.
Because there's been a lot written about you, and
there's a lot of disappointing books out there that don't tell the truth. They don't.
But this one does.
This does
So
tell
if someone
the
wanted to
truth.
learn about you and where you
Right.
came from and everything, this is the book to
I
check
had a
out.
thorough understanding with the man. I talked with him for 8 months. I eyeballed him. And I told him this had to be right, and everything in it's right.
Okay, well, we'll be looking for it. The final video on 120 Minutes tonight is from the DC band Bad Brains. Just so you know, this is one of the first bands I ever saw up close. I used to go see arena rock bands way back in the days, and then one night I got to see the Bad Brains play at a house party, and they were right in front of me and had a huge impact on me. Anyway, the original lineup is intact with H.R. singing, and Daryl, Jennifer, and Earl Hudson, and Gary on guitar, and they're back together. They have a new album called God of Love. It's on Maverick, and this is the first video off it, and it's the title track, God of Love, and here it is.